Sup nerds, I'm Tom. Let's talk about the newest expansion for Mystic Vale, Harmony. So this expansion, much like the Twilight Garden expansion, and actually we have a video for that up on our YouTube channel. If you haven't seen that yet, go check that one out. But this one has the same type of thing like Twilight Garden, which is you can play it all on its own. You'll still need the base game because you'll need the curse lands and like the player decks and stuff, but you don't need to mix any of this in with the base game stuff in order to play it. You can play all right here. There's enough where you can play a full game with just this stuff. And the Twilight Garden expansion had a bit more of an obvious theme, which was the cursed tokens. Right? There were negative points, and you can get a card that has a big ability, but it could give you negative points at the end of the game, or you could give negative points to people and stuff like that. That was really cool. In this one, I'm trying to find what the theme is. It's not super obvious. I think maybe, it's called Harmony, and there are some things that can like get rid of cursed lands, and there's a lot of like putting stuff in the bottom of your deck and things. So maybe this one's a bit more friendly. There's a bit more ways to get rid of those cursed land symbols. There's a few more of the green tree symbols, but granted, I can't remember all the distribution of like the base game and other expansions and stuff to know, hey, this one has more green trees than the other one does. But there are some cool cards here, like this Cauldron of Bones, maybe sleeved over a cursed land. So it still has a negative symbol on it too, but you're making that cursed land even better, like, you're getting more value out of it. This Pollination, you may place this card at the bottom of the deck of the player to your left. You may use this ability the turn you bought it. So you can give other players negative cards if you want. You can get some cursed lands out of your deck. You can sleeve this with a cursed land and give that card to your neighbor. But then, they can do that too, so it'll just be bouncing around the table. But then there's also these Preserved Garden. May not be sleeved on a card with a cursed land, but ongoing, cancel all of the red tree symbols on this card. But then, hey, you put Cauldron of Bones down and cover up a sleeve land, so that cover up a cursed land. So hey, this one doesn't really have a cursed land on it, does it? So now you can cover up that negative ability too. So that's the only theme that I think I can find in here. If you're watching this and you've played this expansion, you say, no, obviously it's got more stuff to do with the Vales or something, then let me know. It's not super obvious to me. I can't see it. But it does also include, just like the Twilight Garden, it has these double cards where they are really big. They are a top and a middle, or a bottom and a middle. Just like in Twilight Garden, they're only the level 3s, and there are only 3 of them, I think. And as I said in that video, I think if you're playing with new people, like if not even like new players to Mystic Vale, but they haven't played this expansion yet, you gotta let them know, hey, just so you know, there are these double cards when you get down to level 3. So I'm not saying you can't, but maybe don't just sleeve a blank card with a middle if you can avoid it, because you'd be blocking yourself out of these cards. And I'm not saying they're really expensive and stuff. They're pretty big abilities. Like this one's just 8 points at the end, and you get Veil cards and ability and stuff, but 15 money is a lot. So I'm not saying you have to put your whole strategy towards this, but you should let them know that they're in there, so that way when they come up, they don't go, oh, I didn't know that. You, of course, also get more Veils and more Leaders. Leaders I don't use all the time. I think they're somewhat advanced. And then also these tokens, I don't remember what they're called, but they replace the one, you get 1 mana or 1 money if you bust. The little consolation prize. These I probably honestly use the least, because like as it goes of level of complexity, like there's the base game and then some of the newer mechanics that are involved in some of the expansions, and then Leaders on top of that give you a special ability, but you only get to use it whenever that card comes up. And then these, like, is something even more things. And then there's also, I think in Conclave they had totems and stuff, and then there's the day and night. So this game can get pretty big and crazy pretty fast. But I have played with these, or not all of them, but the one that I actually really liked was this one. It's when you evoke it, you'll get 3 money. So that's a pretty big swing, right? So if you bust, instead of getting 1 money, you get 3 money. Hey, that's pretty good. But while you have it on its unused side, you have 1 less money to spend. So it's a good way to hedge your bets. It's you're like saying, hey, look, I'll have a bad turn. Sometimes I almost found myself forcibly, busting just so that I could flip this token over and have a better turn next turn. The other one that's also super interesting is this one here. If you were to spoil, you may instead evoke flip this amulet in the air. If it doesn't land on this side, you gain one of the green tree symbols. And that one was, it's you know, interesting because it's the 50-50, and it's a weird shaped token, so it's weird to flip that kind of token. But it also is kind of hard to explain. I remember having to be like, no. If it doesn't land on this side, because think about it, if it landed on that side, then you could, in theory, just do it over and over and over again. This is a 50-50 chance that you will get the, you know, the good thing, but then once you do that, you now no longer have that ability. You have to bust in order to, or spoil. I keep saying busting, that's probably not right. But hey guys, overall, I really did enjoy this expansion. I mean, I love Mystic Vale, so it would be hard for me to not enjoy an expansion. So, you know, I guess take what I said with a grain of salt, with the exception of, I probably actually did like Twilight Garden a little bit better. When it comes to the, you know, big box where you can play this one all by itself, I probably did like Twilight Garden a little bit better just because I really liked the negative point tokens. I thought that was a cool thing. And it just felt cool that that one had a theme. And that one, like, we sat down and we all knew that this was a big theme. This one, it just felt like, you know, a second base game, but like where they just changed the cards up a bit. You know, I mean, again, they're cool cards, and I would definitely play it. You know, I even played with these, which I normally don't do. I was like, hey, I'll give these another stab. But you know, I just felt like if you don't have either, I would say pick up Twilight Garden first. And then I also said if all you ever have is the base game, then maybe you might want some of the small box expansions first just to mix it in. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you because I'm going to put a purchase link to this expansion, Twilight Garden, a whole bunch of other stuff in the description box down below. And hey, while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you will never be bored.